Is it okay to connect an external charge controller to a power station that already has a charge controller? Can hydrogen actually displace air? Talking about tubular lead acid batteries. And are there health crises to be worried about? Welcome to the comment. So for the first comment today, this is coming from Aderomu Adeniyi 8689. And he's saying, I'm using a gaming system with 200-watt charger. Is this a good solar to power my system? So this was coming from our Cola 1000 review. So he's talking about the Cola 1000 from Cola Solar. Well, for a 200-watt gaming system, it's probably a powerful gaming system because to use a 200-watt charger, you're probably talking about the range of Alienware, although Alienware uses like 300 watts. Well, if you use the Cola 1000 or any 1 kilowatt power system, it's going to work, it's going to carry. But it's better to give a bit of a margin. I would advise you use from like 2 kilowatts upwards so that you can really enjoy the system, and then you can also use it alongside with other things as well, like perhaps a fan or a light. But the 1000 Pro has an inverter of 300 watts, so you can still make use of it and still enjoy probably around 3 to 4 hours of usage. But I think it's going to put too much stress on the system, especially when it's not working without solar. But with the solar panel, it's going to be fine. And you can also use some external appliances with it. That means if you're buying the Cola 1000 Pro with the solar panel, it is okay. But if you're buying the Cola 1000 Pro without the solar panel, there would be a bit of a struggle because the system would drain in less than 4 hours, which would still strain the internal chemistry of the battery a little bit. So I would say do Cola 2000 or do Cola 1000 Pro or any other 1 kilowatt system, but together with a solar panel. But remember, during the night, you would also have to go just on the batteries and you'd have just 4 hours of usage. So I would prefer 2 kilowatts and above. Get a system of 2 kilowatts and above. Of course, having an inverter that is 300 watt and above. So the next comment is from Europa Classic. Is it okay to add a charge controller to a solar generator even if the system already has an inbuilt charge controller? Well, if it's okay in the sense that there are no consequences to it. It won't do any harm to the system. But it's not okay in the economic sense because one charge controller is enough. The function of the charge controller is to balance voltage and current so that a system that is designed for high voltage, solar panels have wires running on the roof that is going to come down. So based on the length of wires that is being used, current has to be minimized. And in order to minimize current and still reserve the power, they have to trade current for voltage. So solar panels will give you higher voltage at lower current so that wire doesn't have to be so big to be able to carry so much current. So those solar panels are bringing in high voltage, low current. But the battery or whatever inverter system, whether portable or installable, that you're making use of would need probably 48 or 24 volts or 12 volts depending on the system and more current to be able to charge the battery. So what creates that balance of current and voltage? That is what the solar charge controller does. So if you have one solar charge controller taking in high voltage and giving out a balanced voltage to current ratio, and then you have another charge controller taking in that already balanced current to voltage ratio, it has nothing else to do. It's just basically going to bypass itself and give you the same output. So it's like spending twice on the same thing. On an economic point of view, it's not right. But on a logical point of view, you can connect as many as you want, but they won't be doing anything. Only the first one in the connection that is directly interfacing with the solar panels that is going to do all the work. The rest of them are just going to bypass themselves and give you the same output. So no, you don't need an external charge controller. So we have another comment from Premain 2184. He says, my own sags when I plug my 65-watt charger. Still talking about the Cola 1000 Pro. The previous comment was on 5 systems that will protect your inverter solar setup, talking about protection systems. So this comment is on the Cola 1000 Pro review. If you're experiencing a voltage sag, the truth is that there's basically nothing you can do about it because the chemistry of the battery has already been compromised. What could have possibly caused that voltage sag? Something called C rating, and every battery provided lithium-ion phosphate cells are concerned have a C rating. Or let's use a more understandable term: charging rate and discharging rate. That is the major thing that causes voltage sag. Although there are many other factors like short circuiting, overloading, they're basically hovering around forcefully pushing so much electrons from one electrode to the other. That is what compromises the internal chemistry of the battery, and the capacity drops. That's why you're experiencing a voltage sag for a 65-watt charger, which means the battery has been discharged more than it is supposed to be discharged, and the battery chemistry has been compromised. Or the battery has been discharged forcefully. Like the other video I talked about ITEL power bank, this was my particular concern. Probably you have heavily discharged the battery within a shorter period of time than it's supposed to be discharged. More like forcefully blowing a high pressure pump through a pipe that is made of plastic. You're going to damage that pipe. Maybe you overloaded the system and the overload protection did not protect the system by switching it off or disconnecting you, or you have over discharged the system beyond the limit. Either way, something must have gone wrong with the battery to be discharged, to be sagging at a 65-watt load. You can just take it to any of the warranty centers and get the batteries changed, but the battery is gone permanently. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's it for the comments today. Remember, Hardware House got you covered for anything solar installation, portable solar generators, put in buying of the batteries, the inverter, the wiring, everything. We take care of it. We're totally active. So give us a call on the number on the screen. We're totally active. Okay, I'm Justin. Bye bye.